Hello, everyone. I am going to go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us this evening. One thing to get us started is if you're not used to Zoom, there's a Q&A in the bottom row if you touch on your screen. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and pop them in there and I'll try to answer them. Also, I'm going to be showing you items that I use personally for my zero waste life. While I work for the zoo is not endorsing these items. These are just my own personal items. So I have 3 different main categories that I'm going to go through, which is like toiletry items, cleaning items, and food items. I'm going to start off first just giving you guys a little bit of background information about what zero waste is. So zero waste is trying to produce as little waste as possible, especially waste that would go to a landfill. Because once waste goes to a landfill, it doesn't really break down. Landfills are meant to store waste. So they even found 30-year-old hot dogs that were still in good shape, 50-year-old newspapers that you could read. So trying to avoid sending stuff to landfill. And we do that by composting our food goods, reusing items as much as possible, and then when you can't reuse an item, trying to pick items that are compostable. So I'm going to start off with my toiletry items, and I'm going to start off with more of a hot topic right now, which is toilet paper. So this is my toilet paper. It comes in a cardboard box, and each roll is wrapped in a thin sheet of paper. When I'm ready to use this roll, I'll take off the paper, I cut it up into smaller pieces, get it wet, and I put it in my compost. So the only waste that I really produce from my toilet paper is the tape that was used to tape the box shut. So that's pretty fun. This is my deodorant. So due to COVID-19 and not being out for non-essential items, I don't have a new bar to show you guys. This is my used bar, but this is what it looks like. After my shower, I just wipe it under my arm, rub it in, and good to go. I did have to try out multiple brands before I found one that I like. So you might have to try a few different ones to see which ones work for you. Then I have bar soap that I use for not only my hands, but also my body wash. This flavor is spearmint orange. It's my favorite. It's really good. Then I also have bar shampoo. So this stuff actually lathers really well, and the place that I get it from, they have options for finer hair and for thicker hair. That's that. My conditioner, I also don't have a new bar, so you guys see my used bar, it's kind of split in half. But for putting on my conditioner, I usually just put my hair all to one side, and then with the conditioner bar in my hand, I just rub it in. And then at the end of my shower, I rinse it out. I know that, oh goodness, what is it called? Dry shampoo is a really popular item nowadays. So if you are one to like dry shampoo, you could give cocoa powder a try. If you have darker hair like me, you just dab it on your fingers, put on your roots, and rub it in to pick up the oils. And if you have lighter hair, like blonde hair, you can use cornstarch. I've heard that that works just as well. Another item I have here is my toothpaste. It actually comes in cubes in this glass jar. Replacement cubes come in a cardboard box. In these cubes, you just put one in your mouth, in between your molars, crunch it up real good, and then you start to brush. These. I have my safety razor. So this is all metal. There's no plastic on it. And the only part that you replace is the razor blade. We've been collecting them in a jar, and once we fill up that container, then I'll have to figure out how to recycle them. Another item that I have here, which you might not think of for zero waste, but this is my hair straightener. A friend of mine gifted this to me in 2011. It was her old straightener, and it's still the only straightener I've ever owned and used, and it still works. And I wanted to show this off just because I wanted to highlight the fact that buying things that are meant to last and then keeping them and not going for the newer, hotter, faster item is part of the zero waste journey. So yeah, this was handed down to me in 2011. Another item, so something that is really difficult to get away from for zero waste is medicine containers. So one way that my family has tried to reduce that impact is by buying the larger container, or a container that would be good enough to cover not only my parents, but me and my husband and my brother and his family. So we'll get one container for multiple families and then share it. So these are containers that my parents gave me with our allotment. So that's one other little thing that we do. Are there any questions for toiletry items? Okay, I don't see any popping up. So I'm going to move on to cleaning supplies. The first thing you guys might think of with cleaning would be paper towels. So once we ran out of paper towels, we didn't get any more, and we transitioned to just using a reusable towels. We actually already had these in the house, so it was quite convenient. And then we also have cloth napkins instead of paper napkins. And these were gifted to us by my parents. Nice. And then a big deal for me, and it's springtime, so maybe a lot of you as well. I am a big allergy sufferer, and I found that tissues were actually a major part of my waste. So I cut up some old t-shirt items, or old t-shirts, and cut them into strips that I use as tissues. And then once I use it once, I throw it in this pail. And once I fill up this pail, I will throw all the used tissues as well as all the used towels into the washing machine, wash them up. I do have a question. Can you only get these items online? It really depends on the items. So like the toothpaste I did get online. The cocoa powder I also bought in bulk online, but you could get that at the store. And then my deodorant and my soaps, I bought them locally in St. Louis. And then my next items that I have are my cleaning spray. So I make this cleaning spray. It's a general citrus cleaner. And I used it white vinegar, and I put citrus peels in it, let it soak for a while. I'm actually making a little video for the St. Louis Zoo on making that spray, so you can find that on the website coming soon. I also got that recipe from a library talk on green cleaning, so you can find recipes not only for the general purpose spray, but dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent, toilet cleaner. There's all sorts of green recipes out there available to you. And two more things. I got my scrubby brush, which is made out of wool. Sadly, it is coated, so I am going to end up having to toss this when I'm done with it, which makes me really sad. And then I got this brush as well. This was from the Refill Effect, a local company that does reusable items, wooden and metal. Hopefully it will last me a good long time. I got asked, do you ever make your own deodorant? I actually have not tried making my own deodorant, but I know that a lot of people have. So there's definitely recipes out there that you can find and make, and try different ones out to see which one works for you. Okay, now I'm going to move on to food. And I'm going to start off by showing you my shopping bag. So this is my reusable bag. And I have lots of goodies in it that I use while I'm shopping. So one, I have reusable produce bags. Got a couple sizes. So this one's more for like the leafy greens and potatoes and corn, bigger items. Then this small one works really well for parsley, cilantro, carrots, and I even use it for the bakery. I'll get like 2 bagels and put them in here. So that's kind of nice. I have this jar. This is actually just a pasta jar. I washed it out, and now I use it mainly to get peanut butter, the like peanut butter that you can grind up in the store. So fresh peanut butter. And you'll see that the weight of the jar is actually on the top. They wrote it at the store on the top before I went shopping. If you don't want to ask them to weigh your jar before you go get your items, say there's a long line, just bring an extra spare jar and keep it with your items. And then that way they can weigh the empty jar, weigh the jar with stuff in it, subtract the weight of the empty jar, and only charge you for what's inside. I have another jar size. This one I actually did buy because it has the snapping lid, snapshot lid. I'll use this for like peanuts, berries, and raisins. And I have a honey jar. So the store that I shop at does have honey on tap. Sadly, right now with COVID-19, they are not allowing people to use their own containers at the store. So I am going to have to hold off for a while before I stock up on honey again. So I got asked where I shop for the honey and different bulk items. I actually shop at multiple stores, but the honey, I get that at Fresh Time. And then here's items that might surprise you that they're in my bag. So these are plastic produce bags. I actually got these back in June of 2018 before I started my zero waste journey. And I just have held on to them. I come home, I put away my produce, I wash these bags with soapy water, let them dry, and then I just put them back in my bag so I'm ready to go shopping again. And then I also go shopping online and buy things in bulk, and I have an example here. So I will get large bags of items that I know I will need a lot of. So this is whole wheat flour bag. Came in this paper bag. I can recycle this. And I store it in a food grade bucket in the basement. And this is what we've done with whole wheat flour, cocoa powder, black beans, chickpeas. I also bought dates in bulk, and I have them in the refrigerator in a cardboard box. And then, so that it's not all in the basement, I do have like certain amounts of in jars upstairs, so it's really easy for baking. Sorry, I'm checking the chat really quick. Okay. And then other things that I have that are kind of random items. With my leafy greens, I actually keep them and I put them in this little jars of water and have them in the sunshine. And all this growth in the center up top is actually new growth. It's a way to just get a little more out of your greens. And I get eggs in cartons, cardboard cartons. Then I keep the shells, I clean them out, I put them out to dry, then I crunch them up. And these are nice little calcium packets I'll put into my compost. Speaking of compost, composting is a huge part of zero waste. Food waste is one of the biggest categories of waste in the United States and also around the world. So this is my indoor pail. I have 2 different bins outside as well. I did mention with the honey that I am not able to fill up my own container right now. That was the same case for my nuts. So I got some peanuts, and since I can't use my own items, I got an item that I knew that I would be able to reuse. You can see I put holes in this, and now I've made a treat dispenser for my dogs. I can put their kibbles or treat in here. As they roll it, the kibble will come out. And this, I've made these before, they last for years, and it's tons of entertainment for my dogs. So even when I have to get items that will eventually be trash, I try to think of ways that I can reuse them. And then I also always use my reusable water bottles. I never use a single-use plastic bottle. And for going to work, I always bring my lunch with me in a reusable lunch box. Let's see. And for the question in the Q&A, do I recommend any dishwasher tabs? I am actually making my own dishwasher soap. And I'm going to make a video of myself making the dishwasher soap, and we're going to put it hopefully up on the St. Louis Zoo's website as part of a zero waste series. So keep an eye out for that. And then there's a couple more things to share with you. One is about pets. So I have some guinea pigs, and I use recycled newspaper litter. So this is just the brand that I use, and this is what the tabs look like. But there's many brands out there, so you can check out different things if you need this. And it comes in a recycled paper bag. So I'm able to recycle that when I'm done. I also have 2 dogs, and for their baths, I got them a bar shampoo that's specifically made for dogs. And I love this stuff because with old shampoo, I always had to open up the container, pour some soap on them, rub it in. Then there was never enough. So I would always have to, like, with my soapy hands, open the jar back up again, put more soap on the dogs, and just get soap everywhere. So I really like this because I can just have the bar in my hand the whole time, and as I'm rubbing, it's slowly dispensing soap everywhere. So very convenient. And then another thing I wanted to cover with you guys is my actual trash. So I do produce waste. We've gotten it down to taking out the trash to the curb once every 6 weeks. And we got the smallest size trash bin that's available. It fits about 2 of the large trash bags. So part of that is we don't ever get plastic shopping bags. We always use our reusable bags. And so for our small trash bin, we have unlined ones where the line, like this, can come out and I can wash it with dish or soapy water. And then if you don't feel comfortable having an unlined bin, there are people that will line them with newspaper instead. And then come time where I actually need to take out the trash, I'll compile all the trash from around the house into one big bag and bring it out. Now, we still actually have our trash bags from before going zero waste because we very rarely fill up a bag. It takes us a long time to do it. But you can, instead of buying trash bags, get bags that have a purpose first and then reuse them. So this actually was for my bulk pretzels that I ordered. I'm holding on to it because it will eventually be a trash bag. And if I get impatient and don't want to wait until we run out of trash bags, I'll probably just go along the street and pick up trash. Get rid of that pollution, you know? All right. So that's actually all of my items. Do you guys have any questions for me? D1. Because we don't have a choice about reusable bags now, what can you do with the grocery bags? Yeah, so right now, since many of the places aren't allowing you to use your bags, one, I am doing self-checkout when I can, and a lot of places have not stopped me from using my own reusable bags, so that's helped a lot. And then if you do have to get plastic bags, the best thing you can do is just keep using that bag as much as possible. So you can use it for holding dirty clothes or something and transporting that around, or you can just hold on to it for a while and actually use it for shopping again in the future. Instead of bringing a reusable bag, you can use those bags. That's actually what they were designed for. A guy recently came out, I think he was the grandson of the inventor of the regular plastic shopping bag. And he said that was their intention. It was to use our current plastic shopping bags all the time. He said his grandpa always had one in his pocket ready to go. And you can also recycle plastic bags, which I don't think you can right now. I think plastic bag recycling has been stopped in most locations. But once it starts up again, you could recycle your bags. Okay, are there any more questions?
Leslie, there was a question in the chat if you want to take a look at that.
Can you read it? I don't see a question in the chat.
Yes, Kathy asked, where do you shop? And said thank you.
I answered that earlier. That was when I said that I do shop at Fresh Time for my like honey and stuff, I think. I can also talk about my zero waste journey a little bit. So I started this in July of 2018. And I started on what's called Earth Overshoot Day. And that's the day each year where we've used up all of the resources that the planet's capable of replenishing in a single year. So all of the time from the rest of the year, so after July 31st of 2018, we were just dipping into the base capital of what the Earth can produce, meaning that in future years, it can produce less because we reduce the base amount that it can produce. So last year it was even earlier. I think it was July 29th. But Earth Overshoot Day, yeah, that was what finally made me really motivated to like, I need to do a trash audit and really see like, what am I throwing away and how I can reduce my waste. So I see another question. We take out our scooped cat litter and plastic bags to throw in the dumpster. Do you have any recommendations about that? So actually, with cat litter, it's a difficult thing because you cannot compost your cat litter. You can't bury it in the yard because it actually can carry a parasite that's harmful to wildlife. So the best thing, and you can't flush it either because of that parasite. So the best thing is sending it to the landfill. And honestly, anything that gets sent to the landfill, it's going to last for a long time. Landfills are meant to store stuff, so it really doesn't matter what container you send it in. I guess the least amount of material possible might be the best, but the difference between like a plastic bag and a paper bag won't make much difference in a landfill. And it is really the best thing to do with cat litter. Like you don't really have other options. Any other questions? All right. Well, if you think of any more questions, you can email me. Here, I will screen share a slide with my contact information. And also, I am going to be doing a series on zero waste. And we'll be posting it on the St. Louis Zoo's website. So you can keep an eye out for that. Thank you for joining us this evening.